Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow host Johnny Paulus. Johnny, welcome in. How are you doing this week?
I am good. I picked up a last minute gig Sunday. I was playing at Poorhouse Saturday, and I was sitting outside in between breaks, and this group comes out and they're like, "Hey, you're great. Like, do you do private parties and stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Here's my card." And then one of them's like, "Wait, are you playing tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, I'm open." They're like, "We got a place 2 miles down the road. We're having some people over tomorrow. You want to just come play in our backyard, 4:00?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, is like $250 okay?" They're like, "Yeah, it's great." Guy pulls out his wallet, hands me $250 and gives me the address. Says, "See you tomorrow." I was like, "Done. See you there." It was awesome. So, I mean, I'm a little beat because I did 2 gigs this weekend, and then now I have 1 tomorrow. So busy, but I got to make that money somehow.
You're working tomorrow?
Well, I'm gigging tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's work. You're not going out somewhere to play your guitar for funsies. You're going to go work for 3-4 hours.
River Bay Roadhouse is doing a private party, and they have hired me to perform.
Interesting. The restaurant that soon will not be River Bay Roadhouse.
Correct. Yeah, they're changing their name and format. But yeah, they booked me for a private party thing. So
all right, sick.
Should be chill.
Well, that sounds like a fun way to celebrate July 4th.
Yeah, it'll be all right. And we're also now 3 days into legalized greenery here in Maryland.
That's right. Which I don't feel like that changed really too much, but maybe some people feel different.
I was able to go into a store and legally buy marijuana products legally, which was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for people that didn't go through the incredibly easy process of obtaining a card.
Yeah, I never had a card, so this is my first time. Just like, "Hi, I'll take that. Thanks, bye."
Getting the card was, there's a website that knows that you're just trying to get the card.
Yeah.
You just say, "My knees hurt." They go, "Here you go."
"Oh, your knees hurt? Here you go. Here's a card."
There you go. So it always kind of felt like, it's basically legal already. I don't know. This week was just a sequence of waking up in the morning and seeing how many times I was going to get kicked by my day job. So I'm quite glad that week is over, and on to a short week this week thanks to the holiday. So things already feel better.
Well, that's good.
I've got manufacturers coming in that frankly nobody wants to make time to see, and it's like, you ask these guys, "Why are you coming into the area?" Because I gotta travel. It's like,
yeah,
this sounds like you should have sent an email versus getting on a plane and coming around, because I'm going to throw you in front of all these people and you're just going to go, "Hey, I'm so-and-so from XYZ company." Great. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You tell me. It's like,
yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, if you don't have something cool, like if you have a carrot on a stick, fine. But if you got some new product you get to show off, then great, let's do it.
Yeah, this isn't one of those situations. Yeah. And I'll tell you off stream what it is, but it's sort of ludicrous.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
What this one is, there's no like new piece of technology being shown or anything. It's just for the sake of being busy.
Fun.
It's my least favorite thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is episode 123 of your Power Gamer Podcast. I just got done trying to watch a terrible movie, so I'm trying to turn my night around right now from going, "Oh my God, this movie's so bad," and finally pleading with Amy to turn it off.
What was the movie?
That new Evil Dead movie.
Oh,
it's so fucking bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Oh, it's terrible. So now I'm like in a terrible mood because I lost 70 minutes of my life to this thing just to go, please make it stop.
Dude, 70 minutes? It was probably only 20 minutes left. You couldn't make it to the end?
It was a 2-hour movie because everything's 2 hours now. I'm like, I can't. I can't handle another fucking second of this thing. Please
I'll
turn it
say,
off.
I mean, I remember back in the day, horror movies were hour and a half tops.
Yeah. Yeah. Now everything's at the 2 hour mark. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome in. It's episode 123 of your Power Gamer podcast. You're listening to the show absolutely free. So we would just ask of you that wherever you're listening to the show, please show a little bit of support, either by liking it wherever you are or leaving a nice review. I beat this drum every week, but it does help out the show immensely with our visibility and bringing
Absolutely.
new people into the audience. And not to mention, you don't have to pay a cent to listen to the show. We do it absolutely free with no ads. So if you could just take a moment and do that one thing for us in return, we would be greatly appreciative. No more beating around the bush, Johnny. The sequential numerical episode is officially underway. Episode
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got quite a bit to go over this week. Even though it was a slow news week, I just started spitballing ideas and they all seem to stick. So without further ado, let's start off this week's episode by doing what we do each and every week, which is by discussing the games that we've been playing. Now, Johnny, I'm looking at your list here and I feel like you fucked up.
Why?
Because last week I talked about beating Tears of the Kingdom. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you fucked up here
I
because
did fuck up. You're right.
you left off Tears of the Kingdom, which I do believe you actually beat this past week.
I did.
And after my scathing review of the game last week, I'm sure everyone is curious as to what you have to say about it. I know I am. So take it away.
Yeah, rolled credits on it. The best praise I can give this game is that this game is now my desert island game. You know, everybody does if you were stuck on a desert island and it could have one album to listen to for the rest of your life, what would it be? Radiohead, OK Computer. If you're stuck on a desert island and you had only one video game that you could play for the rest of your life, right now, that choice would be Tears of the Kingdom. I've put 80 hours in and rolled credits, and I still played it several times afterwards. And I know that I'm not done. I know that I'm going to play it again from the beginning without taking advantage of the duplication glitches, because I did take advantage of the duplication
You
glitch
bastard.
that playthrough. I did. I was a dirty little cheater. But no, I mean, as soon as they release DLC with the master mode, I'm in. I mean, Mike pretty much summed it up last week, but this game is about as close to perfection as you can get. It's a 10 out of 10. It's perfect. My main most annoying gripe, and I mentioned it last week, is the fucking voices. Everyone sounds like they're edging themselves to orgasm when you talk to them, men and women. You go up to a store, it's like, oh, 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 oh.
I love that this is what you want to submit in time for all of eternity.
For all of eternity.
On the episode where you talked about Tears of the Kingdom.
That's my only gripe. Everything else is great. I just wish they would
This
figure
is
the
what
voices
needs
out.
to be cemented in the history books.
That's right. I said it. But no, I mean, dude, it's just the sheer adventure and exploration and creativity, and just you figure out at like maybe the 10 or 15 hour mark that there are no rules. What, you know, in Breath of the Wild, most of the shrines, there was one solution. There was one way to get through it. There was one correct way to do it. And in the shrines in this game, because of there's so many different things you can do. Yeah, I've seen TikToks of people doing a shrine completely differently than I did. And that's totally okay. That's how this game is designed from the ground up. There is no wrong way to play it. And that's a part of the fun. And like, I could see myself doing a playthrough where I just build crazy killing machines, and that's just how I run around the game and kill everything with my fucking giant robot mech. You know, you can do that. But no, the game's perfect. 10 out of 10, rolled credits on it, and I will continue to play it. And I'm sure it'll be like Breath of the Wild, where I go back multiple times and play through it again and again and again. I know we've been beating the drum for 6 weeks now, but Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the real deal. It's I mean, I know we're only in July, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's almost certainly going to be the game of the year in nearly every publication out there.
Very, very tough to beat this one.
This is a masterclass in how to make engaging, engrossing, timeless, fun game. I mean, it's incredible. So 10 out of 10, Tears of Kingdom, strong recommend.
I'm adding it to your list.
Thank you, sir. After I beat that, I have branched off into a couple other games. On Mike's recommendation, I scooped up Callisto Protocol on an absolutely stupid deal on GameFly. Anyone that's not aware, I know I've talked about GameFly before, but it's like $15 a month, and they send you a game, and you keep that game until you send it back, and then they send you another one. But in staying with your membership, you get not only coupons, but I think it's like every 3 months or 6 months, you get another $5 off coupon. And you can combine those. So you can go, oh, I've got a 25% off and I've got a $5. So every couple months they'll do a sale, and I look at it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can buy Callisto Protocol for $8. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So that's what I did. I got Callisto Protocol for crazy cheap from GameFly. I'm only about maybe 3 or 4 hours in. I'm kind of getting a feel for the combat is definitely not what I was expecting. Mike, you were right. This is a very melee heavy game. It is not
badass, dude. It's not slow at all.
No, and it's not really a shooter like Dead Space kind of feels like. At least not yet. I'm sure I'm gonna get big guns and shit, but as it is right now, I'm really just beating the shit out of things with stun batons. I have the gun, but I don't have a lot of bullets in it, so it really is just you take a lucky shot when you got it, and otherwise you're just beating things up. Surprisingly tough. I don't know if that difficulty curve smooths out after you get more gear, but as of right now,
it smooths out when you stop sucking.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that to be rude. It's
no, I get it. I mean, and
getting the dance of the
the
dodge shake.
Yeah,
once you get it though, you're a fucking golden god. But yeah, it takes there's some learning curve to it.
And that's what I'm bumping into right now. I'm at one checkpoint that's particularly tough. I got a little frustrated and said I'll just come back another night. I'm sure it'll be one of those checkpoints where I'll do it my first try. I was just getting triggered and fucking moved on.
Yeah, the early parts of the game are the hardest. It starts as hard as it is, and then it just gets easier.
Now I gotta say, fidelity wise, this game is ridiculous. And actually, my very good buddy Steve came over a couple nights ago because he's a big Zelda fan and he hasn't owned a console in a long time. So I said, just come over and hang out. We'll play some Zelda. You can see what you think. And I was showing him the game, and he was really impressed. He said it looked really fun. But then he made the comment of I just feel like graphically we'd be further along. It's 2023. Don't get me wrong, this game isn't ugly, but I mean, I guess it looks all right. And then I was like, well, let me show you the PS5. And
you're playing it on PS5 because it does look fucking ridiculous on PS5.
Yeah, so I was playing Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch, and then I picked up the PS5 controller, and Callisto is what was in, so I opened it, and the game loads instantaneously, and he goes, "That's the game?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is gameplay." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Holy shit." He's like, "This is what I expected to see in 2023." I'm like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, it looks fucking nuts on PS5. It kind of looks like ass on PC in comparison. It's just not optimized very well.
Dude, on PS5, it looks amazing. So yeah, I'm not far in it, but I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely going to play it. The vibe is great. The setup's awesome.
Short.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Another short one that I started playing maybe a month or two ago. I know I mentioned it on the podcast, but I got distracted with all the other games, and then I got curious and I Googled it. I was like, that game seems like it would be short. I should probably just go knock that one out. And that game is Evil West. So Evil West is about a 11 hour game. So I fired it back up. I blasted through, I don't know, 4 or 5 levels, took out a couple more bosses. I'm about 5 hours in, so I'd say I'm at the halfway mark. But being that the game's only 10 hours, I think I'll knock through it. This is a fun game. If anybody's looking for something to get into and you see it on a Steam sale or on a PlayStation sale, would I spend $60 on this game? No, but I'd happily spend. I don't think it's ever been 60.
Yeah, I think it was a $50-ish game, something like that.
But if you could scoop it on a sale for $20-$30, yeah,
I was 60.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just a big, dumb, stupid action game, and that's okay. But there's not enough of those big, dumb, stupid action games, and that's totally what this is. One thing I will give Evil West big props for is how insanely optimized it is on PC. I'd been sitting there playing it for an hour and was just having a good time. And then the thought occurred to me, like, damn, this is like buttery smooth. I feel like I'm at 100 frames a second or more. And I look at the frame counter in the corner and it's like pegged and locked at 240 frames a second the whole time. Action sequences, big boss, shit blowing up. The game is still 200 frames a second on my 3080. Now, granted, I know I have a monster PC, but that monster PC does not get me that frame rate in almost any modern game. So, super well optimized. It's a lot of fun. It almost feels like Duke Nukem killing monsters. It's not quite that stupid, but it's inching in that direction. So it is a very kind of take your brain out and grab a bucket of popcorn and kill monsters sort of video game. But I'm digging it.
I've heard it's best a dish best served in co-op.
Oh, really? I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, co-op would be fun. And lastly, we talked about it last week that I had only rolled credits on one Metal Gear Solid game in my life. So I decided to fire up Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid fans are about to be really mad at me. The hour-long tutorial at the beginning of this game is a fucking slog. Oh my god. So there's like helicopter sounds and then an explosion sound and then Man Who Sold the World by David Bowie comes on and then your vision is blurry and you're in a hospital bed and you sit there for like 5 fucking minutes doing absolutely nothing. You can't see anything. You're just listening to the song. And then you wake up and the doctor comes over and they have a little conversation and then you get freaked out and they put you under and then there's another long sequence and then you wake up again and then they show you that your arm is missing and you freak out again and they put you under again and then when you wake up the hospital's being attacked and Solid Snake has been in a coma for 9 years. So he's like not up to snuff physically. So you spend the next 10 minutes crawling, just slow as shit, crawling down this hallway behind this guy. And every maybe minute or so, there'll be something that Snake will try to pick himself up or lift himself up to stand, and then he'll fall over. And then you'll crawl for another couple minutes. And it was just, I finally got to a point where I Googled it and was just like, is there a way to skip the tutorial? Like, can I just get on with the actual game? Because I'm not having fun right now. And I find a forum that is just post after post after post after post like, no, this is the reason why I've never replayed this game. You can't skip it. It's fucking awful. Like, the cinematic parts in it are really, really fucking cool, but the actual gameplay parts are so bad. I wish they'd just said, here's a 15-minute cinematic and just got it over with. But no, I sat there for an hour bored out of my skull. So I got out of that part. I'm now actually out in the open and I got my horse and I'm on a mission and I'm finally actually playing the game. I got a little stuck there. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next, but I'm in now. I'm looking forward to playing it, but dude, that intro to that game, I was drooling. I was so goddamn bored.
That's unfortunate that you've decided to start with one of the worst in the series.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really? I've heard good things about that one.
I mean, I would not recommend anyone who intends on playing the entire Metal Gear series to start anywhere other than with the first game.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, I've played Metal Gear Solid, and I've rolled credits on Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, and two is arguably the best in the series. It's usually between 2 and 3. 4 is a giant pile of dog shit. That's still cool. And 5 was reviewed really well, but Jesus Christ. It's very different from the rest of the series.
Huh. I wonder if Metal Gear Solid 2 is on PC. Is it on Steam?
I'm sure you can emulate it. It's a PS2 game. And it's come out a million different ways. So
Right.
I think because soon there's going to be the release of the collection on
Yeah, the
Switch.
Master Collection.
So, and I
Well,
know
that's coming to PC too.
the Master Collection, or rather, there was a on GameCube a very good release of 1 and 2, or 2 and 3 rather. They've been re-released several times over. I'm sure you could find something, but
Okay.
I mean, 2 and 3 are just
Okay.
the best. And when people gush about Metal Gear, that's what they're gushing about. 5 and all that, okay. I mean, they're solid games, but you're going to be, for the guy that doesn't like the uh noises in Zelda, you're going to be very beaten to death with Japan.
Oh no, I'm aware of the character Quiet. I've seen videos, and I'm just like, I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's
So
fine.
that
I'm
I'm
glad that
sure
you
that
started it though. That's a very big long game though, so be prepared.
how many hours is it?
A
Maybe I want
lot,
to play
like
it.
80 to 100.
Oh God, I don't know if I want to put that much into a Metal Gear game.
It's pretty bad. All right, I will take it that wraps up you for this week. I've got some different stuff to talk about.
Yep.
First up, Gran Turismo 7 racers, or race curious people. I'm not talking about anything other than cars here. Gran Turismo 7, I finally got back into it, and I'll be honest, like I used to be very competitive in Gran Turismo. And I had not done a competitive race in about a year and a half. So I fired it up and I just had the bug to get back into competitive gameplay. So
Right.
it was a track that I'm super familiar with, Laguna Seca, which is an American track. It used to be called Mazda. Now I think it's called WeatherTech Laguna Seca. Anyways, great track. It's been in the series for a very long time. And I just sat down and started practicing, probably put in about an hour of practice. Somehow have still held onto my A license after all my time away. It just said, nope, you're an A driver.
Oh, that's
So I'm
cool.
still in the second highest splits. In other words, every time it generates lobbies, the best people go into slot 1, the second best people go into slot 2, slot 3, 4, 5. So I'm in 2. And
Not bad.
I used to play in slot 1 stuff all the time, but I've kind of trailed off some. You got to play a lot to stay up there. So, um, get back in, and within 3 races, I'm collecting victories again. I'm like, I haven't lost it, and I forgot. It's winning races in Gran Turismo is like one of the fucking hardest things to do in a competitive multiplayer ever. So, feels good that I still have it,
Nice.
and I've
That's
been playing it
great.
a lot because I said, you know what? I'm just setting back up the PS4. I'm setting back up my PSVR. I'm putting all that into the cockpit, and that's just it. And I don't give a fuck. And you know what? It's fine. I don't even notice that I'm playing on a PS4. Honestly,
Right.
that game runs so well on that system. I don't even notice. So, yay, my PS4 is getting used again too.
Yeah, there you
So,
go. Yeah, sure.
that's it for Gran Turismo. Now it's time for my big talking point of the week. Octopath Traveler 2. Which I have put 42 hours into this week.
Wow.
This game's really fucking good. Okay. It's really good. I love the first game in every conceivable way. 2 is better. It's wonderful. So the general concept for Octopath, for those that are unfamiliar with the series, is there's 8 characters that just sort of all link up throughout their travels throughout the world, and each one of them has their own like mini RPG storyline that's usually contained of 4 or 5 chapters, and each chapter takes about an hour to complete. Um, so you can run a party of four characters at a time. And I learned in the first game that because only the characters you're actively playing gain experience and level up, which kind of drove me crazy in the first game because I was trying to like bring all 8 of them up at the same time. Man, being a veteran of the Octopath series and coming into Octopath 2 and going, you know what I'm doing? I'm taking the 4 characters that make the most sense. So start with Thief because being able to steal stuff is massive.
Yeah.
So I did Thief, Scholar, who's your mage, Apothecary, who's my healer, and Warrior, who's my tank. So the perfect team.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm just going to run those 4. That's it. Nobody else, just those 4. So I've already finished all of their storylines for my first 4 characters, which the stories in the first one were fantastic. They're somehow even better in this game. So I finished all 4 of my starting characters, and much to my I'll say I was pleasantly surprised that when I completed my main character, so the first character I selected, when I finished their storyline, credits did not roll. I was like, oh, that's a nice change from the first, because that kind of, the end game in the first Octopath Traveler was kind of weak, and there's actually a very defined end game in this that doesn't open up until you've completed all 8 storylines,
Oh.
which is much cooler. So I finished my first 4 characters, and now what I'm doing is I'm just introducing one of the new characters in to one of the slots where they make
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
and Sherpaing them through the most
Right.
terrifyingly difficult areas
Yeah.
just to like power level them up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's working great. So I just picked up the merchant, who, oh, by the way, the merchant in the first game was fucking trash. Merchant in this game is amazing. And there's like huge pieces of the game that literally don't unlock until you play the merchant's storyline. Because in the merchant storyline, uh, he's how you buy a fucking boat. And so when you're doing your Octopath traveling, you're just stuck on land until you get him, and then you buy a goddamn like huge boat, and now you have all that space in between the continents available that you can sell. And like there was nothing like that in the first game, and like the
That's
naval
cool.
shit in this game is amazing. It's so good. No, I'm really enjoying Octopath Traveler 2. In a different year, in a year without Zelda, this game it's scratching itches that the first one didn't for me. On the heels of Triangle Strategy, which is just perfection. This is rivaling it. Like the quality that's coming out of Square Enix right now with these retro styled RPGs is just absolutely mind bending. So I'm loving it. I will definitely finish it this week. Probably after we're done recording tonight, I'm going to finish up the merchant storyline, and then I'll only have 3 characters
3.
left.
Cool.
Until I've completely smashed the fuck out of this game. So a lot of reports say it takes about 80 hours to fully complete. I am trending well below that mark, but I think it's because I've done such a smart thing and how I'm running the parties on it. So
Right.
Octopath Traveler 2, that's a game that came out this year, so it's new stuff. If you're looking for an RPG to play, this would be a great one. And you don't necessarily need to play the first game at all, because it's 8 new stories that, there's a couple hat tips to the first game, but nothing where you would actually have need to have played it.
Right.
So Octopath Traveler 2. That wraps up what we've been playing this week. So next up, I customarily like to go through and discuss the game releases in whatever month that we're coming into. So it is now officially July. And I was looking through the game releases this month, and Johnny, I noticed it was actually kind of a slow month finally. And
Finally.
I was so excited that it's a
I
slow month.
know.
Um, I mean, really, in the games that I highlighted that we're about to talk about, there was only one that I said I would definitely buy. And it doesn't come out till the end of the month. So let's go through these games and talk about, I guess, the ones that I felt were relevant. If I missed any that you thought were relevant, definitely feel free to throw that in there. But here we go. So first up, I mean, it's going to be a while this month until anything of big note comes. And that is going to be, goodness, all the way down to July 14th, where Exo Primal comes out from Capcom, which I have absolutely no interest in playing at
I
all.
I I could not possibly give less of a fuck about this game.
But it's one of the buzziest games of this month because it's
Yeah.
Capcom.
Yeah.
It has that kind of, I mean, when I look at it, I kind of get those Earth Defense Force vibes.
Totally.
Uh, so if you're interested in Exo Primal and have been waiting for it, great. But I am so not into this game. Comes out
No.
on the 14th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC. The next game that I highlighted here, it's the big Nintendo release this month, which is another game series that I don't give a flying rat's ass about, and that's Pikmin. Now,
Likewise.
I'm not saying that to be mean, because I know a lot of you out there like Pikmin. That's awesome. It's never struck a chord with me, and anytime I've watched other people play it, um, I feel like I'm just not. I understand what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we have a copy of Pikmin 3 here that I've never touched. Maybe I need to check it out, but I'm not feeling pressure to play this game at all. That comes out on July 21st. So we're already into the back end of the month here.
Yeah.
The next one up is Remnant 2. Now, Johnny, I know that you had some playtime with
Yeah.
Remnant from the Ashes, the first Remnant game. So have you looked into Remnant 2 at all? Is this anything that you're interested in?
I mean, the trailer I thought looked really good, and I did enjoy the first one, but the first one fell victim to what a lot of these games as a service fall into, which is you either figure out the gameplay loop and go, this is great, I could do this for 500 hours, or you don't and go, that's really all there is here. And it's a shame because I think the graphics are really cool. I think the gameplay is great. It's really tight. Like if you're looking for a good shooter, it is a very tight game. It runs very well. It's very snappy. Everything operates the way that it should. Gameplay wise, it's great. But for me, I just lost interest because of the games as a service thing. It was like every time I was doing a quest, it would just randomly dump more people with me. And inevitably, one of those guys has done that mission 8,000 times. So I'm just like following him and trying to keep up while he clears the rooms out. It's just not fun. You know, I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm the hero. I feel like I'm following the hero while he fucking carries me on his back. So uh, if I could, I don't know, man. I've been tempted to go back and play the first one so many times because I did enjoy the way that it played. It's a fun game to play, but the games as a service thing just, it either works for you or it doesn't. And I think I'm to the point where I've kind of realized that for the most part, not for me.
Yeah, I'm only into a game like this if I have somebody else to play it with. And
Yeah.
I think it looks like a fine series, but yeah, it's not one that's captured my attention yet. Remnant 2 coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on July 25th. Now, the following day, July 26th, is a big day for PC gamers. If you haven't already played on your PS5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So, that's coming to your PCs this month. I think it's the first PS5 exclusive game Well, no, because I guess technically Last of Us Part 1 was a
Returnal.
PS5 exclusive
Returnal as
and
well.
Returnal. So, um, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, breaking free
I
of the PS5 and coming to
I
PC.
really hope that game comes with a good benchmark. If that game comes with a good benchmark, I will probably buy it on Steam sale. Once I can scoop it for 20 or 30 bucks, I will probably buy it just to see what my computer could do with that game.
Yeah, it's sort of one of the mind-bending titles of holy shit, a home console can do what?
Totally. Totally. Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
and it's a great game. It's a lot of fun to play. So highly recommend it. I had a lot of fun with that. Next up, Double Dragon Gaiden: Rise of the Dragons comes to PS5. It comes to all the PlayStations, all the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on July 27th. Do you have any more beat 'em up in your bloodstream, Johnny?
I mean, dude, 10-year-old Johnny, beat 'em ups were my shit. I mean, we were raised on beat 'em ups between Gauntlet and Double Dragon and Streets of Rage
Turtles.
and Turtles in Time. And I love that this is a genre that's now like officially been brought back. I mean, we had the big the big Shredder's Revenge. We had the newest Streets of Rage. Now we got a Double Dragon game coming back. I'm all for it, man. I think the beat 'em up is the the perfect couch co-op game. I said the other day that my buddy Steve was over and we played some Zelda. So I showed him Zelda, I showed him Callisto Protocol, and then I handed him a controller. He's like, what are we doing? I said, don't worry, you'll be right at home. And I fired up Shredder's Revenge, and he was like, oh shit, this is exactly like the Super Nintendo. I'm like, yeah, it is. Let's go. So him and I sat and played through like half the game till 3 a.m. So I love beat 'em ups, and I'll probably end up owning all of them. I love the simplicity of it, and just if somebody's over at your house just hanging out, you can toss them a controller and they can button mash and y'all can just have some fun. So I'm all for it. And Double Dragon was one of the better ones. So I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Next up, I didn't put this in our show notes. Forgive me. But of note, Telltale's The Expanse series also comes out July 27th, which looks really good. And I'm a big fan of the TV show.
I'm a big fan of the Telltale games. I've beaten a couple dozen of them at this point.
Yep. So new Telltale series, The Expanse, comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on July 27th. And this looks really good. It looks like one of the best Telltale products that we've ever seen. So
Well,
just
I mean,
excited it takes place in the Expanse universe.
Telltale has a great history of licensed IPs. They did great with Back to the Future. They did great with Game of Thrones. They did great with Walking Dead. They did great with Batman. I mean, the Telltale doesn't miss, in my opinion. I know some of them are better than others, but they're all worth your time if you enjoy adventure games. So, and the Expanse is a cool universe. So, yeah, Telltale doing Expanse sounds good to me.
Now, the game that matters most this month comes out on July 28th, and that is, of course, Disney Illusion Island. If you've been listening to the show, you've heard me talking about this game over and over and over and over again. This looks like platforming utopia. It is a combat-free platformer that is also co-op. The art on it looks fucking fantastic. I cannot wait for this game. So this is the one that I'm excited for this month. I've been excited for it 4 months. And I'm ready for some Disney Illusion Island on my Nintendo Switch. It is only coming to the Nintendo Switch, which I am also fine with. Johnny, any interest in Disney Illusion Island?
Yeah, I think it looks like fun. It looks like another great couch co-op game, and I love the art style. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's from the most
it.
recent cartoon iteration of Disney, which is hilarious, especially if you're an adult watching it, because it's like, ironically, a ton of adult humor that just blows right over kids' heads.
It's my favorite kind of kid
dude,
show.
The latest Mickey show is absolutely like that, and that's the art style that this game's done in. So
cool. I haven't seen that show.
It's great. It's so good. July
I'll check it out.
28th. And that basically wraps up the month of July. So I've got one game that I really care to play. And so this is it. Okay? Because after this month, shit gets fucking crazy.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, absolutely fucking nuts.
I
So
know.
if I want to catch up on stuff, July is the month. Because next month, what do we have? We have Baldur's Gate 3 right out of the gates.
We are a month away from Baldur's Gate 3, and that's going to eat up 2 months of my life.
Atlas
easily.
Fallen, which is a big release coming out.
Blasphemous 2.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yes, Blasphemous 2 is
Sea of Stars.
a day oneer because I love Blasphemous. Armored Core is the really big one. I think
we're 2 months away from Starfield.
And then Sea of Stars also comes out next month. So it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's about to get real. So that wraps up our July release radar. There are, of course, a billion other games coming out that probably suck. So just ignore those and focus on the ones that we just mentioned. And you will perhaps thank us. Unless, of course, you actually buy Exo Primal one.
I hope you love it. It doesn't do anything for me at all from what I've seen.
If that game scores a 7.5 on Metacritic, it's fucking gold for that genre.
Yep, it's true.
Speaking of slow months, Johnny, what are you going to do with your extra time? What are you going to do?
I know.
Are you just going to sit and play Metal Gear all month?
No.
So
no, I gotta take down Jedi Survivor. That's gotta happen.
Before you start flapping those gums, this is a lightning round pick 3. That's right.
Oh shit. Okay.
You didn't notice it's a pick 3? It's pick 3.
I didn't notice it was a
You
pick
can have
3.
more than 3 picks. It's fine.
I have 4.
Yeah, you can have 4.
Okay.
I'm keeping mine to 3 because I follow the fucking rules. Okay.
That's fine. I'll sandwich 2 of mine together.
You can have 4. So Jedi Survivor. Go ahead, Johnny.
Jedi Survivor. I got started on it. I thought it was awesome. I was in love with the story. I thought it looked amazing. I was having a whole lot of fun. And then Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out. So now that Tears of the Kingdom is done, I need to get back to Survivor because I know you fucking love that game.
I would like to point out that you fucked up. Because you remember when Zelda came out, I was playing Jedi Survivor. And I said, I will not touch Zelda until I finish this game because I know what's going to happen with Zelda.
Yeah.
And then it happened to you.
That's fine. I allowed it to happen. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, Zelda's here. It's done. I'm playing Zelda.
I can't do it.
Jedi can wait. So I need to get back into Jedi Survivor. And then once that's done.
Jedi Survivor's so good.
Once that's done, I got a whole other list of games to go on. What's your first pick 3 there?
Right. So I'm going to finish Octopath Traveler 2. And then I've got 3 games in front of me that I'm like, I need to get into next. So I think the first game that I'm going to grab after Octopath Traveler is going to be Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while now. And the last time I had to pick one of my new games to play, I had that and Dead Space at the same time. I was like, it's been longer since I played Dead Space. So let's fucking do Dead Space. So Resident Evil 4 Remake has been collecting dust through Jedi Survivor, Tears of the Kingdom, and now Octopath Traveler 2. So I'm going to loop back around and take care of business with Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's my first one.
Nice. My next one is Final Fantasy 16. I can't wait to play this game. It looks fucking incredible. I haven't read reviews. I haven't watched videos on it. Like, this game is in that category of, I know I want to play it. I don't want to know fucking anything about it. So I have, like, my blinders are completely on for that game. I have literally no idea about any of the big story beats or anything outside of what's been in the trailer.
Yeah, I want to play that too. I think that'll be the first one after I get through the 3 on this list.
On top of that, I also have the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster set on PC. And those are a lot of Final Fantasy games that I've never beaten. I've never beaten Final Fantasy VI, which I've heard is one of the best. I've never beaten Final Fantasy 3, which I've heard is one of the best.
3's
And
terrible.
now that 3 is
3
terrible.
fucking sucks.
Okay, so which one should I play out of the 6? What are the must plays?
So in America, okay, because we have to make this distinguishment. We got Final Fantasy 1 on the NES.
Yeah.
We got Final Fantasy 2 on the SNES, which is great. Final Fantasy 2 on the SNES is actually Final Fantasy 4.
Okay.
And it's really easy to remember which ones they are because the equation is just multiply by 2. Okay. So we got 1, 2, and 3 in the United States, and then we jumped to 7. So 2 was 4 and 3 is 6. Okay. We didn't get Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 5.
Okay.
3 was first released in America on a DS port, which I actually have. It's a flaming hot pile of dog shit.
Okay, so 3 is bad, just skip it.
3 is not good. 5 is good. And we just straight up didn't get 5. But
I've heard a lot of good things about 4 and 6 are the two main on that list that I want to play.
And those were the two that actually came out in the United States as Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3 on the SNES. And yeah, I mean, all of that set that you have on there, those are the best games.
Okay.
All that being said, I'm because I bought a physical copy for the Switch. I'm going to be playing all 6 of them because part of the reason why 3 was such dog shit for me is it was one of those faux 3D remakes, and it was just hot trash on the DS. So I think 3 is going to feel a lot better as a pixel remaster.
I love
actual
the
Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3.
That's why I had to have it.
Yeah. Actual Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 is like, this character is white mage. This character is red mage. This character is warrior. There's not a lot going on with them, and that's true all the way through 3. So you got to kind of bear that in mind with those old games. But yeah, dude, 4 and 6 fucking just slap. I've actually got the SNES original cards of those, and they're just so good. I can't wait to play them again.
So yeah, those icons are on my desktop taunting me, but I do want to get to those.
Yep,
maybe I can in July.
I want to get into it right away, but I feel like after Octopath, I'm going to need a bit of a break again from the pixely.
Yeah, that makes
Square game. So next up for me is a very short game. I might tackle this before Resident Evil, Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
I thought you already took this one down.
No, I bought it.
Got it.
And I have not touched it for even a second. And these games are usually pretty quick and straightforward. Now, I'm not talking about the 3D Kirby game that came out last year. I beat the fuck out of that. That's done. Kirby's Return to Dreamland is a return to the old 2D style Kirby game, and this game just came out.
Okay. I was getting my games mixed up.
Yeah, and I just haven't had a second to touch it yet. So I've got it. It's ready to go. But Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which just looks like Kirby's All-Stars, just in a modern kind of setting. All new game.
6 to 10 hours, probably.
Something like that. I can't imagine, because my first Kirby game, Kirby's Adventure on the Game Boy, you can beat in 50 minutes.
Yeah,
super short. And the ones on the Super Nintendo, even those are very short. You can do it in an afternoon. So I think this is going to be somewhere along those lines. So I hope, because it's a Kirby game, that's kind of how I like them to be. So
yep.
That's my second one. Johnny, you're on to your fourth.
My fourth is the System Shock remake. It was on my fantasy draft list. I played a couple hours of the demo, and I was impressed with what I saw. One of my favorite things about this game is they did that sort of, so like, you know how pixel 2.5D sort of like what you've been playing with Octopath Traveler is very popular now. One of the things that's really cool that they did in System Shock Remake is that some of the effects and some of the textures and some of the things in the world are like full fidelity, super crisp, amazing graphics, right? But then some of the things you interact with are like very old schooly, sort of almost Quake in the way that the textures are done and stuff. And it's a very cool, like faux retro presentation. And I mean, it is the forefather to my favorite genre of video game, which is the RPG first-person shooter. I mean, this BioShock would not exist without this game. Half-Life wouldn't exist without this game. I mean, this System Shock was the big one that showed that you could do all of that in a first-person shooter. First-person shooter didn't have to be, a stupid action game like Doom, for example. So I really, really, really want to play the remake. I'm excited about what I've seen and what I've heard, and it's a remake of a very old, very classic first-person shooter game that was very overdue for a remake. Whatever developer, if you're listening, please remake the original Deus Ex. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to play this game too. I've said that for a bit.
I think you would love it. This is a game that it's tough as fucking nails. And you have to really think, because as you're leveling up, you choose whether you want to increase your hacking level, or you want to increase your weapons or your melee, or what. I mean, it is an RPG, and you can build your guy completely top heavy in one direction and focus on things, or you can spread your abilities out. And there's a lot of different ways to get through it. And that's why I bring up Deus Ex, because the first Deus Ex was very much like that. You could hack a turret, or you could pick the lock. And, there's a lot of different skills and stuff that you can focus on. But System Shock Remake, it's already going for like 25 and 26 on Steam sale. So it's already down there, and I can't wait to play it. So that's on my short list.
Very good. And my final one is the next big RPG that I need to tackle. Which is one I've been putting off for entirely too long, and it just keeps getting put on the back shelf. So like, this is the ultimate backlog queen for me, and that is Fire Emblem Three Houses. So all these new Fire Emblem games on the Switch, they all look fantastic. They all look right up my alley. But yeah, I've just not gotten to them. And with how much I love triangle strategy, that feels criminal. So yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses. I already have it installed on my Switch. I thought I was going to play it once, and something happened, and I just never did. So yeah. I need to get that one done ASAP. Right, that wraps up our little pick 3 on backlog games. 2 quick notes before we move on to our 1-up section. Number 1, I wrote here on my show notes, Nintendo does get it right finally. So in a recent shareholders meeting, Nintendo did actually put words to our ears that we wanted to hear, that when the next iteration of console comes out from them that will take over for the Nintendo Switch, that your Nintendo accounts will transfer over and all of your content with it. So thank you, Nintendo, for not Wii Uing us into fucking oblivion again.
Yeah, no, and this is a rant we've had a dozen times, so thank God. And the official quote included the words "smooth transition," which is what, look, it's 2023. This is what it should be. It should be when you buy your new console, you log into your account, and it goes, cool, here's all the shit that you already own. That's what it should be. And when the Switch came out, that was not the case. You bought all that shit on the virtual console, you spent all that money on all those titles, and you buy a Switch, and you've got jack shit in your account. And that was bullshit. And I'm glad that they've learned their lesson and that they're not going to do that to us again.
Indeed. So
props
bright
to
days
Nintendo.
for
Thank
Nintendo.
you.
I'm glad that Switch is like where I really bought in with them. So
yeah.
Next, Annapurna, big publisher in the indie game world, had a showcase. They of course were the group behind one of last year's biggest indie titles, Stray. So we had a little showcase from them. Just a couple of notes from that, because it's a lot of games that aren't really worth sitting and talking about, because they're things that we can't really give verbal comparables to. So If you're interested in unique games, definitely go watch their showcase. But here's the few that I thought I wanted to point out. Number one, Blade Runner 2033 Labyrinth. We didn't get a strong idea for what the gameplay looks like, but it is exciting just to see graphically what they're doing, and that it's a
Yeah.
game that takes place in the Blade Runner universe that isn't that old PC Blade Runner game from forever ago, which there's actually a remake of, which I actually got a physical copy of for my Switch from Limited Run. That's also my backlog book, but yeah, so Blade Runner 2033, just some cool images and things. No
I
ETA or nothing.
I think this is going to be an old school adventure game. I think this is going to be, walk
So like the
around,
first one,
talk to people. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that works for that genre. You can just make a really deep, engrossing, awesome story, great characters, good dialogue. I think they're going to do like a
adventure
very
game.
deep adventure game.
The next one I want to talk about is called Lush Foil Photography Sim. What the fuck?
It looks cool.
What is this?
It looks really cool. It's an actual photography simulator where you have your camera and you're in the
The
landscape.
fidelity is insane from what
Yeah,
they showed.
yeah,
It looks like a
yeah.
goddamn RTX 5090 tech demo. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It looks like a very high fidelity photography simulator. So somebody looking for a game to sort of relax and just go out in nature and get some nice photos of that bubbling brook. It also looks like you're going to be able to do drone photography as well. They showed a
When the
drone
like
briefly
out in
in
a
the
canoe,
thing, and
so it's I guess kind of a walking simulator baked into there.
I think it's sort of a walkabout video game with a camera. I think it's a cool, chill idea. There's not really anything like it. So,
No,
it's not often I see a game where it's like, well, that has not been done yet. And I'm intrigued. I think it seems like a
it
cool
just
idea.
looked jaw dropping.
Yeah, the graphics were stupid. Yeah,
I've never
I
seen
agree.
anything like it.
Yeah,
Where
it was
you're like
pretty stunning.
actually kind of pinching yourself, going, am I? That's not real. No, it's not real. So always neat when moments like that come up, but then you always have to kind of grain of salt it between a presentation versus what you'll actually see when it comes to market. So
Right.
Lush Foil Photography Sim. Just wanted to bring it up here. Cocoon. This is an interesting game to talk about. So Cocoon is from the same people that made Limbo
And Inside.
So two of the biggest indie games of all time. Cocoon was also named at the Game Awards the most anticipated indie title of 2023. I'm not going to say it looks amazing, but I am intrigued by the game and some of the hype that's around it. But when I actually look at the footage of the game, I go, wow, I don't care, but maybe there's more there than my eyes can detect. I don't know if you have any insight, Johnny.
Wow, we had completely different takes on this trailer. I was blown away by this.
What blew you away about
they show
it?
this Well, they show this really cool mechanic where it looks like there's worlds within worlds. So you walk up to a little globe and you press the button and then zoop, it like zooms in and now you're inside of that globe and you're in that world. And then they zoom out and there's one sequence where they jump out of one globe and then they jump out of the next globe and jump out of the next globe and they just keep zooming out and zooming out and zooming out. And then they pick one up and go take it somewhere. And there's going to be some weird brain busting type shit in this game with that mechanic, and I thought it looked really, really cool. I also have rose colored glasses because I loved Inside and I loved Limbo. Both of those games are absolute must plays. If you do not own them, you should. Next time you see them on Steam sale, buy them. Inside and Limbo are both just wonderful, wonderful games.
Yeah, no, I'm still interested in it. Just nothing I saw in the trailer was I like, oh wow, I can't wait to play that.
No, I was stunned. I was like, yep, done. I'm in.
Fair enough. And finally, Stray makes its way to Xbox. So, August 10th, if you haven't been able to play Stray yet because you are living the sad life of only having an Xbox,
Oh, it's funny because it's true.
God, I haven't even fucking turned mine on since I don't know when. And the last time I turned it on was to play Redfall, and then I just got violently sick watching Redfall chug ass at 30 frames per second. So I turned it off and just came over to my PC and finished playing it. What
Right.
the fuck is the point of my Xbox right now?
For me right now, my Xbox is it's a game installation machine. I turn it on and I look at the new games that are out and I go, I'll install that one. Oh, I guess I'll install that one, and then I don't play them. That's
Yeah,
what
there's
my
no
Xbox
end
does.
to its worthlessness in sight. Because the only game that I'm like, oh my god, I can't
Starfield.
wait to play Starfield. I'm not gonna play it locked at 30. Looks like I'm playing that on
That's the
PC.
facts right there. Yep, I'm playing on PC
So,
too. Absolutely.
finally, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our final segment of the week. That is, of course, One Up. Johnny, it's time for One Up. Why don't you do us the honors and get us started here?
Sure. I'm gonna give a little shout out to the newest title in the MCU, Marvel's Secret Invasion. It is really awesome to see Samuel L. Jackson carrying this entire show on his back because he is a fucking magnificent actor. And there was one scene in episode 2, I won't spoil anything, but there was one scene in episode 2 where Don Cheadle and Samuel L. Jackson had a one-on-one conversation that when it was done, I looked at my wife and I was like, that is one of the best scenes we've ever had in the MCU. That was fucking awesome. And it was just dialogue, but it was just two magnificent actors with the stakes are set, and it's just the show's great. It has that sort of that gritty realism we got from like Winter Soldier, Civil War, that sort of vibe, that grounded sort of vibe. Secret Invasion has that. It's not it's not member berries, it's not cameo central. It is a spy thriller where the aliens are among us and they could be anybody, and no one really knows what the fuck's going on except for Nick Fury, and Nick Fury intends to figure it out on his own because no one is going to help him. And Samuel L. Jackson is a bad motherfucker. We all know he's a bad motherfucker, and it's nice to see him. He carries this show so
Hmm.
hard. He is magnificent in it.
Uh,
Strong recommend. 2 episodes in out of 6 so far. I'm very, very happy with what I've seen. I think you would like it, Mike.
Besides it being a TV show, you're probably right. So if you watch it and you're like, ah, man, I can't wait to watch it again, I just invite me over.
You got it. If it holds up, we'll give it the Andor treatment.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
My one up this week is a book. It's a big ass book. I picked up a book. It is literally a textbook, and it is for my certified technology specialist certification, the Avixa CTS certification. So I've decided to add some letters behind my name and get a CTS.
Cool.
Kind of as my first stop to putting some real weight behind Mike Dawson. So I'm
Nice.
like, all right, step 1, let's get my CTS, and then step 2, my CTSD. So why am I doing this? Because I work in the AV field, and right now I do strictly sales, but I always like to have all avenues accessible, and I've made a point in my life to always have 1 foot 10 steps ahead of where it needs to be, and it served me incredibly well.
Yeah.
So this is just the next step in that long-standing tradition of just being prepared for the future, because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. So yeah, my one up this week is I guess self-improvement is the overlying theme, but specifically going for my CTS certification. So,
or just knowing the path that you're on and recognizing what the next step would look like.
I strongly recommend too, because I have a 2-year degree, and I make double what a lot of my friends that have 4-year degrees make, and it's all just been from recognizing opportunities and staying ahead. I can't strongly recommend enough to anybody that's, maybe unhappy with where they're at or unhappy with what they're doing, um, to look into getting a CTS or a CTSD. Most jobs in the AV field don't require heavy bachelor's degrees. And a CTS goes a long way. You can get the certification done. I mean, if you work really hard on it, you can get it done within a month. And it opens up really good paying jobs. And if you take it one step further and get a CTSD or a CTSI, you're fucking set for life. So, all in all, what does it cost to do this stuff? I mean, this all in all is going to cost me like $500, and the CTSD will probably be like another 500. So $1,000 into my future. And then if anything happens with my current situation, or, if I ever want to make a change, I've got those letters behind my name. Fucking A right. So get it done now. But
Nice.
so yeah, that's my one up. A little adulting in my one up this week. So just always work on yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It never hurts to
That's great advice.
invest a buck or two into yourself. So
I do have one quick shout out before we go.
absolutely not.
And this goes for you as well. This goes for you as well.
Okay,
Mike.
what you got?
I got a notification that something was on sale yesterday, and I have never ordered something so fast in my entire life. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Complete Official Guide Collector's Edition, aka the hardcover with the sickest fucking cover you've ever seen on a Zelda book in your life, was $44.99, is currently still on Amazon with a pre-order price of $26.99. It's almost half off. So for $27, it's the hardcover complete strategy guide with all the maps and the shrines and and dude, I showed it to my youngest Damon, who's the big Zelda fanatic, and he was like, "Dad, we need that. Does it have like a map of all the bosses and stuff?" I'm like, "Dude, it's got everything. This is the full strategy."
So if he
guide.
has a book,
gonna have
he'll
it
actually
all.
play the whole game.
I think if he has this book, I think he'll do a lot more than he normally would. Yeah, because he is the kind of person that would like flip open the page and be like, "Oh, well, there's where all the bosses are. So let me go do that real quick." So yeah, so the book was $45, is currently right now $26.99.
That's
on a
very
pre-order. They ship out at the end of the week.
This fucking book that's not nearly as entertaining was $60. So come on,
$26.99. Do it up.
All right. That wraps up this week's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, we will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode for you to enjoy. Happy 4th of July. Until that time, I am Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
Yeah.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Deuce.